It's another travel day. We are doing, I think some people call it the bounce.
The bounce?
We've been members of Thousand Trails now since we started our full-time travel adventures, and we are at one of the Encore parks out in Arizona, and we're leaving here and going to another Thousand Trails Encore park down in Benson. So yeah, we're bouncing from one part to the other. We've only got about a 2-hour travel day today.
Yeah, not long.
Thought we would carry y'all along for our breakdown. Donna's getting her vacuum cleaner ready.
It broke.
I don't know.
The latch won't stay lit.
But it still
so
works.
I have to tape the latch.
Donna
if you hear me.
It doesn't really matter if we travel 30 minutes or 5 hours, we still pack the same every time. So we're going to get started. We'll carry you around and show you what it's like to move our traveling circus. And you have to excuse the mess. It normally doesn't look quite that bad, but right after we bought this rig, we took the kitchen table, was right here. We took the kitchen table out and put a desktop in here, and we even, since we've been stopped here, and we've been stopped here almost 2 weeks, we went to IKEA and found this tabletop, a little bit narrower than what we had, and installed it, and it seems to be working out a lot better. So this is our workspace. Donna works over here. We'll get that cleaned up, get it packed up, and then I'll get out of the house and get out of her way.
I clean before, as we pack up, put that way.
Yeah, so
Donna, I don't like to arrive and have to clean.
Yeah. Well, not only that, for any bits of, and right here where we're at, they've got this real fine gravel, and we've tracked it in on our feet. Jack's tracked it in on his paws, so we've got these little pieces of gravel that we keep finding on the floor. So we want to make sure and get all that up before we start moving slides in and out. That would help a bunch too. So, but today I guess we're mopping, so I guess I'm gonna help.
A new bucket, so we'll see if it's a
mop bucket.
Spin mop. Tell me what you guys use, because I've been fighting hard.
This thing spins around and it puts the dirty water.
No, puts the dirty water in here, but
in the big bucket. And this is the clean water.
It's in this blue part. The clean water is in the bottom here. Okay. And let the clean water in here and spin the dirty water out, and it keeps it separated. Let's see if this works. If not, I've wasted a lot of money on it.
The good thing about it is that while the bucket's a little bit bigger, it's all really, really light, so it's not a weight issue, and the handle on the mop collapses down and makes it real small, so it makes it real tight for I don't know, we'll leave a link in the description if it's something you're interested in. So we'll just see how this goes. Back when we first got this unit, Donna found these ottomans at Walmart, a couple of them that matches the color of our furniture and everything, but the other side of it is it's extra storage space. So you can see right here, all of my computers and editing stuff and everything goes into my bag, and it gets closed up in here for extra storage. So anytime that you're buying stuff for your camper, multiple purposes makes it a little easier to keep, even though it's a little more space. So now, since we installed our solar and battery system, our camper, our RV, never knows that it's turned off. So we use the T-Mobile Home Edition. And what we do is we bring it up into the bedroom and plug it up and leave it plugged up, and it just lays on the bed here, and we can actually hit the signal from the truck as we're riding down the road. A little tip, if you've got that right there and you've got the batteries, plug it in so that it keeps running. You've got internet while you ride. Well, as long as you got signal anyway. What are you doing?
Going crazy.
Oh, that's another thing. That's on travel days, before we get ready to go. Well, the last thing Donna does is gets Jack's food. We carry a water bottle out in the truck for him, so we make sure that he's got food, treats, water, and everything for the trip when we go. And we usually also will pack us a snack and a drink to go along with that, depending on the ride day and how long we've got to travel.
We use these collapsible crates. I have 2 of them that I just put miscellaneous things in, and I set them here, and the other one sits on there on the stool until we get the bed in. I try to keep the weight, most of the weight, off the bed when it goes in and out.
Because Lord knows we've had enough problems with this bed.
We've had enough problems with this bed. We don't need any more.
Is it just me, or is anybody else that owns SwimTechs always just anxious every time you push that button? Maybe it's just me, I don't know. The things that I also do is when I let my SwimTech slides all the way in or all the way out, I hold the button for about 3 seconds after it stops to let those motors synchronize and show where 0 is on the out or inside of it. So make sure and do that if you've got SwimTechs.
So, instead of putting all this stuff up, I just wedge it in here. Use these tension rods. Thanks to Lane for the great idea. And it rides up here. It doesn't move. It's a lot better than trying to put all this stuff in the sink. But I put my plants in the sink. I got this new shoe storage, and I think it's going to work out nice. I got them from IKEA. And the shoes that always pile up here at the door, we just put them in here, and they're up and out of the way, and not right here at the door. Just take these down on travel day, and they ride in the sink. Just wedge everybody in here. Do y'all travel with live plants? Let me know. And I got one in the shower because it likes the humidity of the showers.
Living room's been checked off. Close the slides. So that part's done. So now we're down to just the kitchen. We ain't even been outside yet, being that we're carrying y'all around with us. So yeah, we'll have to go outside here in a minute and do tanks and get everything outside started. One of the things that we take into consideration is I just emptied the black tanks 2-3 days ago. So, and we can usually go 10 to 12 days on a black tank. So I feel like it doesn't have that much in it, and I'm also kind of the opinion it might do it some good to slush around a little bit. Being that we don't have that far to go, I'm not concerned about a huge amount of weight in that particular tank. So we had already left our main gray tank open because Donna's been washing clothes. So we leave that tank open while she's washing clothes. So the only other one that I'm going to go ahead and dump today is going to be the kitchen gray tank. And good gracious knows we go through enough of that water. So and I'm going to another full hookup site, so I'm going to let this one ride this time. Being that we're not going to boondock anywhere, and I probably won't stop, this will be a one-step trip. I'm going to go ahead and let the water out of the freshwater tank, or most of the water out. I'll probably keep 5 gallons or so in there. I do have a checklist on my phone that I will refer back to here in a little bit. Got a lot of it in my head, but the last thing that I do is go through that checklist and make sure that I've got everything checked off. We do have to get the bikes and all, get our little camp area cleaned up, and all of this goes in there. Tell you folks, if you've got a 5th wheel or camper that's got a trailer hitch on the back, this little stabilizer for MORRIDE, it's a game changer for being inside and stabilization. Between that and our X-Box, our X-Chocks in between the tires, it's made a huge difference in our RV. A lot of people leave theirs mounted all the time. We've got to put our bike rack on, so we take it on and off as we travel. All right, so our Thule bike rack, it's expensive. It's a little bit on the heavy side, but it's the only one that we could find that was rated to carry our heavier bikes. Our bikes are about 60 pounds a piece. The thing I like about this, and I'll show you up underneath here, is it's got a screw that you screw it in, and you can actually wiggle this thing down and get it to where that it doesn't move at all. As you can see, this thing's rock solid back here. It doesn't bounce around, doesn't move at all. It folds down, and then if you've got a space where you need to, it'll even fold down a little bit further. So great buy. Like I say, a little bit on the expensive side, but in our mind, it has been well worth the money. It just reminded me as I was walking around back here picking up the water, make sure whenever you disconnect your water that you grab your water, that you have a water pressure regulator. We use a Y like you see right here, but I can't tell you how many of these that I embarrassingly am going to admit that I have donated to other campers because I left them laying somewhere like this or whatever. Once I pick it up, I go and take it and put it in the camper so I know where it's at. So make sure and do that. Before I turn off any power out here, I go and make sure that most of the big loads, air conditioners, things like that Donna's using on the inside, that she turns them off for just a minute until I turn the power off. She can turn them back on after that and it's fine. Just in the initial shock load of the system, it's better to have that power kind of shut down in there and then transfer it over a little bit.
My idea didn't work. My
What happened?
shoe idea. It won't allow the slide to go in all the way. Another piece. So, I'm going to have to put these maybe on the wall. The rug will curl up on the island a little bit. And with the shoe box there, it prevented it from doing that. So, we're going to come up with a little bit better idea.
We'll put a spacer up underneath it and raise it up and put them back on there. We'll fix that when we get to our next stop. All right, so some of the things that we try to get done beforehand. Yesterday I checked all the tires and looked at with our TST, it makes that kind of easy. So I checked all the tires yesterday. I went ahead and preloaded our trip into our GPS, that kind of thing. Checked the truck. The only thing that I didn't do is the fuel on the truck, and we have installed we've got a 51-gallon tank, external tank that we put in the bed. So I've got that hooked up to a switch. I've still got a little above a half a tank in the tank and a full tank of that, so we have got more than enough fuel to get us where we want to go. And I can flip that switch going down the road later on when we kind of get hooked up and get moving a little bit. And since we put the big tank in the back of the truck, I can't see my hitch anymore. So what I try to do, and there's no way I will ever be able to show y'all this, is if I look in the rear view mirror here, I took the headrest out in the back, and the hitch and the headrest, I've got a mark on that I try to look in the rear view mirror to kind of line up, and I know after doing it over and over and over again about where that's going to need to be. The other thing that I do is I look in the rear view mirrors here where Donna's at, and I know that the camper and the truck are the same width, so I can line my fenders up with that. And you can see there what I'm talking about. And usually Donna stands back there and kind of, gives me last minute suggestions.
Oh.
I always throw the truck in neutral and take my foot off the brake just for a second, as long as I'm not on kind of flat ground, to release the pressure on that hitch a little bit before I get out and let all the jacks up and finish up with that. So I will climb up in the back of the truck. Donna and I, one of the two of us will, and we visually look to make sure that the lock is locked on and that everything's sitting like it should. Last thing before, well, next to last thing before we get ready to go, we literally walk around and I look to make sure that every slide is in. Donna's doing the same thing on the other side. We physically touch every door, make sure the awning's in. I'm looking up underneath, making sure the jacks are up. I literally walk around it and do a visual inspection and feel and touch all the way around the rig before we're ready to go. Last thing we'll do is a light check. very, very quiet here. There's not hardly anybody here. Of course, it is 86 degrees. The temperatures are starting to go up, so a lot of folks have headed back up north already and started to migrate to the northern states again. So it's better for us. We kind of got the place to ourselves, as long as the weather don't go crazy and it gets stupid hot. We got to go up on top of the hill and get parked, and then we'll reset it back up. Made it into our new spot. It's a little snug, but that's the life in a big camper. What do you do?